Moreover, when she looks outside of the school, she can't help but notice how varied the modern dance world is becoming. Helen Tamiris, a white dancer noted for her social activism, is teaching classes in Harlem. Her best-known work, the dance suite Negro Spirituals, is regarded as one of the first modern dance works to draw from American source material. Hampton Institute, a black college in Virginia where modern dance is being taught, is pioneering the choreography of black folk dances. Charles Williams, Hampton's physical education director, codifies them in a book titled Cotton Needs Pickin'. But it will be African dance that makes the biggest impact upon audiences in the late 1920s. The spark is a young West African dancer and singer, Asadata Dafora, who comes to America attracted by the focus on African themes during the Harlem Renaissance. Dafora settles in Harlem and sets out to create dances based on his study of West African folkways. He merges his choreographic vision of African dance with Western staging. Such a synthesis had not been seen before. His ostrich dance is a prime example of this fusion.
The critics were enthralled. The simple fact that these critics had never seen dance and music of Africa presented in such a polished setting, in a theatricalized version. They had never seen this before.
The articulation in the shoulder girdle, the articulation in the pelvis, the thing that we called isolations, in which the dancer moves a part of the body separate from another part of the body, all come out of the African tradition in dance. In fact, without the African contribution, we probably would not have had American dance as we know it.
By 1930, it is evident to Edna Guy that she will never dance with the Dinashan Company. Even though she is one of the school's better performers, her options are limited. Unsure of where to go, she hangs on as St. Denis's seamstress and wardrobe assistant. But through it all, Guy's letters proclaim unshakable faith in the dance. She finds solace in works she creates with friends based on the spirituals her mother loved, moving her farther and farther away from the world of Dinashan. Her newfound independence creates friction within the school.
She really defied the definition of who a black girl who aspired to any kind of entertainment was to be at that time. Edna Guy was connecting to her inner spirit. She's talking about African American culture as she experiences it, as she perceives it, as it has affected her own personal life.
Ruth St. Denis is touring continuously, trying to raise money to keep the Dinashan holdings afloat. her marriage is crumbling. And with new dancers entering the field, interest in her aesthetic dancing is waning. While on tour, St. Denis receives complaints that Edna Guy is no longer fitting in at Denishon. As tensions mount, Guy is asked to leave the company.
Dear Edna, I'm afraid there is considerable misunderstanding between us. Someday all mists will clear from your mind, and then you will see clearly and forever that I have been and still am your best friend. Ruth St. Denis.
Ever since I've known you, I have given you all my devotion and love, but now you say I'm selfish? My friend Mary always said not to put so much belief in you, that you were like all other white people. But because you had beauty, I stayed. Everything is ending in error.
Edna Guy is 23 years old. On her own now, she connects with other aspiring black choreographers in New York City, notably Hemsley Winfield. Winfield has been presenting theatrical works since the mid-20s, developing broad audiences for black performers. In 1931, he and Guy collaborate and stage the first Negro dance recital, a concert showcasing the artistry of their work as well as other African-American dance artists.
Edna Guy is an example of how community functions in African America. She had to reach out and touch other members of the black dance community before she could find some sort of through line to find what was inside of herself.
Despite Guy's promising start, her desire to establish a company of her own is thwarted by America's descent into the Great Depression. Like other dancers at this time, Guy has to be inventive just to survive. Maintaining a steady troupe is out of the question. But even in the midst of hardship, opportunities for dancers do materialize. In 1933, the city of Chicago stages a World's Fair titled The Century of Progress to gloss over the Depression's misery. To involve African Americans, a special day-long event is mounted, featuring reenacted scenes from history, mass choral performances, and dance. Organizers hire a college student and budding choreographer named Catherine Dunham to recruit and train dancers.
There were about 30 of us, and she walked over and she said, "I'm Catherine Dunham." At this time, we didn't know who she was, and she extended her hand to me, and I just knew I would dance forever, because this is what I had been waiting for all my life.
After the event, Dunham retains a few of the performers to become the core of a new dance company, a goal she had sought for years.
Catherine Dunham had chosen 6 or 7 of us, and she asked if anybody would be interested in becoming a member of this company that she was forming. And of course, I was the first one to raise my hand.
Dunham calls her troupe the Negro Dance Group, and though it enjoys some local notoriety, attracting audiences is an ongoing struggle. Dunham wonders whether a future in dance is truly viable and continues her academic career, concentrating on anthropology at the University of Chicago. During one course, she learns about the work of Melville Herskovitz, a prominent local professor, who was a driving force behind the study of African folkways.
What makes the 30s an important moment for discovering African culture has to do with anthropologists during this time period, many of whom have traveled to Africa, and those who haven't have at least traveled to Haiti or Cuba or Jamaica, places that still have strong evidence of African folkways and language and movement still very much alive and well in those communities.